Hello and welcome back to True Crime Phenomenon. This is Josh coming back to you with another video on Jeremy Dewitte. Firstly, I'd just like to thank everyone for the support while I was on vacation for the last 5 days. Came back to a lot of really good comments and a lot of new subscribers. So I just wanted to say thank you to all my new subscribers. We're over 400 right now, so let's keep it going. And if you can, please donate to the Motor One FOIA Relief Fund at GoFundMe. The link is in the description, top of the box. And hopefully you like the pic you're seeing on the screen now of Jeremy Dewitte showing his badge. I know I kind of have a crude sense of humor, I understand, okay? And this video is an interview of Jeremy Dewitte with Sergeant Vidler and Corporal Ramsey regarding the confrontation Jeremy Dewitte had with an off-duty police officer. Now, Jeremy Dewitte's doing his typical impersonating and gets into an argument with this off-duty police officer while he's directing traffic. Yeah, no, typical Jeremy stuff. Anyways, I think this video, at least to me, is important because Vidler and Ramsey were disciplined for investigating Jeremy Dewitte. Now, Vidler was fired and Corporal Ramsey was put on suspension for a month without pay, as well as he was taken off the promotions list for a certain amount of time. How much time, I'm not really sure. Anyways, so I think this video is important because of what's going on right now with the Vidler lawsuit. Now, PoliceTube is the only channel that I've seen that's actually covered Vidler's case against John Mina. And I gotta say, I support Vidler and Ramsey 150%. I think those guys are great. They do a great job. So I'll be doing a video soon on the Vidler case situation because I think it needs more coverage. I think PoliceTube's doing a great job with that. Special thanks to Friday International Operations. He's helped me a lot behind the scenes. And, you know, I'm not going to say what he's done for me, but he's done a lot. So thank you, Friday. Yeah, so like I said, I'll be doing a video on the Vidler case soon, so stay tuned for that. Here's the first part of Jeremy Dewitte's police interview. Context is there's a lot of stuff that's coming up so with the Vidler case, and I think this is very important to that case. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them below. Please consider supporting the YouTube channel through either Patreon or through the GoFundMe link, and enjoy the content.
Just real quick, I want to swear you in real quick, so raise your right hand for me. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Corp.
Okay. Today we're at PSD at 2500 West Colonial Drive at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and it is 13:09 hours. Today's date is September 26th, 2019. So let me ask you real quick, because I know they had to go get you from somewhere else. I guess you were at the front or something. Anybody talk to you or discuss anything about this on the way here, or just general conversation, right? And nobody since you've been in the room. I'm just making sure so everybody knows that it's on tape.
The only thing that was discussed was I asked him for the video,
okay,
and he said he didn't bring it, and he's working on getting it.
There's one of my guys videotaped it from the phone with his phone, and he was going to send it. He sent it to me before, and I want to see if he still has it, and if he does, he's going to resend it.
Are you able to pull it up on your phone so we can at least see it today?
Yeah, if he can send it to me. If not, the computer's been dismantled at our new office, and if you give me less than 24 hours, I can put it back together and get it downloaded.
Okay. Where's your new office at?
It's at a new location.
You don't want to share that?
Not right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I mean, just so if we have to follow up to come talk to you again, we know where to go.
You know, the thing is we've been getting follows up the last 2 weeks, so I'm a little deputied out right now, with all due respect.
All right, that's fine. All right, so obviously we're here because of an incident that occurred. This is back on September 17th, right?
September 16th, I believe.
I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, 16th.
16th, okay. All right, so if you want, go ahead and tell us what happened that day. What was your function that day? What were you all doing? And then just take us from the start to up to the incident.
So as you know, we were doing it for Walden's Funeral Home. Sergeant Vidler has already made contact with them. So how it started, we had the funeral home or the church. I'm sorry, in Eatonville. We left Eatonville heading towards Mills, 1792. Came up on Mills, made the right, kept the funeral in the far right lane. We stayed in the left.
Who stayed in the left?
Our guys stayed in the left.
In the left
Lane of the three.
Okay.
As we moved down, we went through Winter Park. Not a problem. As we came up to Orlando Avenue and Mills, my last unit reported that there was a black Dodge Ram that was cutting into the funeral. The families were blaring their horns. We didn't make contact with him at that point. I was like, well, maybe he's going to turn at Orlando to head towards the hospital. He didn't. He continued riding with the funeral. The family was trying to speed up and go around him. Every time the cars tried to go, this is what my last unit was advising. I didn't see this myself. Every time the cars tried to go up and around him because they knew he wasn't part of the funeral, he would try to weave in front of them so they couldn't go around him.
Can I just stop you real quick?
Sure.
Because I don't want to lose my train of thought. So
Sure.
first, that's 3 lanes right there, right?
Yes.
So you were keeping him in the far right lane, so closest to the sidewalk.
Correct.
And then your guys were using the center lane.
That is correct.
And so let me ask you, how do they know that this vehicle is not part of the funeral procession?
It didn't have its high beams or hazards on. And
So,
without
so it didn't have headlights or hazards. Okay,
Correct.
that's what I want to make sure of. Okay.
and without sounding disrespectful or because I'm definitely very far from racist. It was a very, very important, prominent person of the black community, and usually when white people are in a black funeral, they don't belong, or vice versa. And then when we were leaving the church, also when we were making the right onto Mills, we all watched what car was what. We always advise what the last 4 to 5 cars are, so we know when to start moving and things of that nature.
How many vehicles?
There was a total of 98 at that time.
98 vehicles?
Yes, sir.
Just one more question. How many people were working for you that day?
Contract, I had 6 people on that escort.
How many people were working for you that day during the escort?
My contract people were there was 6 of us.
Okay, well, I guess that's what I'm confused about. What do you mean contract?
Well, for some reason, there's something going around. I don't know if it's you or Sergeant Villa or Orange County Sheriff's Office. I don't really understand, and everyone keeps asking the same question. And now I have a Department of Labor lady at my office trying to talk to us, and it could be Tony. I don't really know at this point.
Who's Tony?
The landlord that we're trying to evac from as fast as possible.
Okay, so that's where you were.
1790 or 1725 Lee Road. Yes.
Lee Road. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
For some reason, I don't know why, there's a question about the employees. My men aren't employees, are all 1099 contractors, so I don't really understand what that has to do with anything, but that's neither here nor there, so I'm just making it very clear while I'm explaining now that the contractors that I hired that day were working for me.
How many contractors did you
There
have
was
that day?
total of us of 6.
6,
So,
including yourself?
that is correct.
Okay. So there was, in just layman terms, there was 5 employees plus you, correct?
If we're saying employees per layman's term,
well,
sure.
Even if it's 1099, it's
Right.
still an employee. It's just that they're responsible
Contracted
for
for
it.
themselves.
Correct. Right. They're responsible for their own.
Roger.
They provide their own equipment. They're responsible for providing their own gas. They're responsible for providing everything. All you're doing is saying, "Come work with
Yes.
me on this," and you
Yes,
pay
sir.
them. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay. So there's a total of 6. Okay, go ahead.
So as we crossed Orlando Avenue, the funeral, because it goes to 2 lanes, we started to shift them over to the next lane, which is technically the center lane of Mills at that point. The truck then continued to follow with him. At Orlando and Mills, my rear officer or rear man said to him, hey, because the family's blowing their horns on him and trying to get around him, and he keeps kind of weaving in front of them. Hey, you're not part of the funeral. Come on. At this point, the gentleman in the truck rolls down his window, flicks him off, and tells him to go fuck himself.
Now, this person that you're talking about, this one of your guys, was he on a bike or on a?
He was in a car, but he was
Okay.
And that's your car.
I'm sorry.
That's a Metro State car.
Correct.
Registered to who? To him?
To the company.
Okay.
To the Metro State company.
Right.
Okay. Hold on. So it's a vehicle, not a bike. And who was that officer that he flipped off?
That was well, his name is, I call him Recycle, and I'm sorry, I don't know my employees' names, believe it or not.
How many do you have?
I don't have employees. I have contractors.
How many contractors do you have?
I have like 20,
20?
25.
Well, because I remember you used to, because you were starting off small, so you had about 7 or 8
Right.
Several years ago.
Can I interrupt real quick? Jeremy, when I talked to you at the scene there, when we were discussing some incidents, your comment to me, and that's why I'm trying to get the number correct, you said that you can't be everywhere because you have 30 employees, is what you told me on body cam.
We have a couple of guys that are snowbirds.
Okay. So, I'm just trying to figure out. You told me you had 30 employees, but you're telling him you had 20. I'm just trying to figure it out.
It's 20, 25 guys. They're here in Orlando. Well, they're in the central area.
Okay.
Some of them live in DeLand, some of them live in Lakeland. But I have 6 guys that are actually snowbirds. One lives in New York, one lives in Illinois. 2 live in Illinois. One in New York. I have 2 in Montana. Anyways.
But anyway, so the one, you can't remember his name. He was in a vehicle. He pulled up next to...
It's Recycle is...
nicknames Recycle?
Yeah, Steven.
Okay, so Steven. Do you know his last name?
I don't off the top of my head, Court, but I can get it for you.
If you could, please, because I just want to make sure we follow up and talk to him to
Sure.
get, the demeanor of this person in the truck.
He was 12 at the scene when they cuffed him up. So,
Okay.
but okay.
When
You guys should have that information on paperwork.
I arrested Steven?
Well, everyone detained him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which one? I can remember the 2 that were standing there. Was he the real skinny guy, or was he the one wearing the yellow shirt?
The yellow shirt.
The yellow shirt. Okay.
So at this point, the truck gets into the funeral and stays in the funeral. Recycle clears the intersection, starts to move up the line, and relieves the next unit at the traffic light. And I'm sorry, I don't know the name of that street, where if you make the right, it takes you to Florida Hospital ER, right there at the lake as soon as you cross the
I know
bridge.
exactly.
Okay. So,
Rollins or something like that right there?
I think so.
Mhm.
It's the one right before Princeton.
Right, it's yeah.
So he relieved the gentleman that was there and stopped there. Saw the truck coming still. Same kind of scenario, saying that the family was trying to go around him. They're honking and flashing their headlights at him.
How fast were you all going in the procession during this time?
Christy with Walden, she
Average
drives.
speed.
She doesn't even drive over 20 miles an hour. She drives very, very slow.
Who's that?
She's the owner of Walden Funeral Home, Christy.
Okay, so Christy was driving, and so your procession was going about 20 miles an hour?
Yeah, about 20, maybe 25.
What's the speed limit right there on Mills?
35. Once you enter Orlando's jurisdiction, it's 30. But it's Winter Park, it's 35. In Orlando, it's 40.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's between 35 and 40 right in the area that you're at.
Right.
And you're saying she was doing about 20. I'm just trying to figure out.
20, 25, that she drives a little slow.
But that's not a problem.
That's the only way we keep the funerals together that are large like that.
Okay.
So, Recycle relieved Photo, which is the skinny one. Photo then moved on. Recycle advised that the same thing was happening. He got out and he's like, "Come on, get out of the funeral." And the guy just drove on by. No, he didn't roll down his window at this time. But as soon as he passed him, the family member tried to go up and around him, and he swerved in front of him, and he advised me of that.
The black truck swerved?
Yeah, the black truck swerved to try to, or no, yeah, the family was trying to go around him because they knew, and the black truck swerved to stop him from going around. So Recycle advised me of that. At this point, I was at Princeton and Mills. I was like, all right, well, I was in a truck that day. I wasn't on a motor that day.
You were in a truck or SUV?
The Tahoe
Okay,
SUV.
so SUV, okay.
At that point, I said to my guys, well, let me hop out and see if we can get him out. So I hopped out. I was in the left wheel, or the left lane. They were in the right. And I was like, hey, come over here. Come here. You're not part of the funeral.
So you were in the left lane?
Right.
So the center lane or the very far left into...
At that point, it's only 2 lanes.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm waving him over. I'm like, hey, you're not part of the funeral? Come on. At this point, he slows down. So I'm thinking he's going to either turn right on Princeton or he's listening, one or the other. He slows down, and then he turns towards me, and then he accelerates very rapidly. I throw my hands, hit the hood, and push myself off and kind of kick back with him hitting me, and I fall back to the edge.
So wait, so you're... Let me make sure I write this down. So you're left lane.
Correct.
I gotta look at that.
All right. And he comes up to you. You're trying to wave him out.
Right.
Right. And then he continues to accelerate.
Princeton and Mills.
How fast was he going when he accelerated towards you?
Well, he was in the funeral line, and they were doing, like I said, about 25. So at that point, he slowed down. So I'm thinking he was going to turn right, and I advised my guys. I was like, he's probably turning right here.
How fast was he going when he accelerated towards you? How fast was he going? Because then you said he accelerated. So was he like doing 25?
Well, as he slowed down, like he was going to stop almost. Okay? And then he angled towards me, turned towards me, and then he accelerated. You could hear the engine rev. I can't tell you how fast he was going. He was coming directly at me.
Okay.
So he's coming. I hit the hood. I hit it a couple times to push myself off. I fall back. I grab my balance. I stand up. As I'm standing up, he has the window down. He advised me. He's like, "You want to go to jail?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "You're in a funeral. You keep cutting in and out of the funeral. The family's telling you to get out. You got to get out of the funeral." He's like, "I'm a police officer. I'm going to take you to jail." I was like, "You're going to take me to jail for what? You keep cutting in and out of the funeral. You need to get out." At this point, he laughs, rolls up the window, and cuts right back into the funeral, cuts the funeral off, and the family has to slam on their brakes, and they're hitting their horn. At this point, the two-car Recycle comes up, relieves me. ASAP's at Randall, who's the one who got 15 for open carry.
Okay, so what, the guy who relieved you?
Recycle.
What was he driving?
The Charger.
The Charger, okay. And he relieved you, so he stayed there while you continued on?
Right. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, we still have to run the escort. So I went on, relieved ASAP at Virginia and Mills. ASAP went up to, Nebraska and Mills. And ASAP went up to go grab, while it was green, Virginia and Mills. The funeral moved over to the left to go ahead and make the left turn. The truck was riding along with them. As the funeral shifted to go to the left turning lane, the truck stayed in the far right lane. So at this point, we think he's done again. So he continues down the lane. At the last second, he comes over, turns left from the right far lane in the actual intersection block past the white line, turns left aggressively, and starts racing towards ASAP. ASAP has to lean the bike. In the truck, he goes very close.
Did you see all that? Or
I did see that, but because of the truck...
Did you have that on video?
No, because I'm in the truck, so my body camera is being blocked by the steering wheel. I did see that. However, the truck, as it passes the motorcycle, I can't see how close he is because the truck's blocking the actual...
Always I ask because,
we do have Randall's video where he does that. Randall sees that on his body camera.
Want to speak to them.
Right.
Okay.
So now the funeral's in the... We make the left onto Virginia. They're in the right lane. He's now back in the funeral, slamming on his brakes on purpose, and the family has to keep hitting their brakes. Then he would accelerate, slam on his brakes. Accelerate, slam on his brakes. I take Virginia and Mills. ASAP moves up to I don't know the cross street. It's where the Orlando Fire Department, Fern Creek in Virginia. ASAP takes that light, and at this point, we're like, okay, he's not going to stop. He's saying he's a cop. Let's call 911. Because every time, even though the light's green and the funeral's... Go ahead.
You didn't call 911 until you were at Nebraska and where?
Well, we already started... We already called 911, but when we called, it was... They were talking to me. Now, ASAP's deciding to call also. He didn't know that I was on the phone with 911 at that point.
So when did you call 911?
I called 911 when I left Princeton and Mills, when I was moving up.
You first had your first interaction with them?
Correct, where he hit me with the truck.
Okay, that's when you called 911?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know if they called 911?
Who's they?
The people in the truck.
I can't tell you that. The windows were tinted. I did see that he had a phone, or his wife had a phone.
Okay, was she on the phone?
She had it by her head. So, yes.
And just one part of that. When you said you hit the hood of the truck, where was that at? On the middle, the side?
It was, so if quarter panel front hood, so it was where the headlight is, because as he's coming like this, I'm
so
stepping
it was on
back.
The passenger side?
No, driver.
Driver's side, okay.
They're at Fern Creek and Virginia. He just keeps slamming on his brakes. The light's green, and he stops at the light on purpose at the green light. So the family's having to go up and around him now. He lets 3 or 4 cars go around him, and then he accelerates. At this point, I'm coming down Virginia to relieve Randall ASAP. ASAP then goes to Nebraska.
So this guy's following you for the whole funeral?
From Orlando Avenue all the way until we get to General Reese, yes. Okay. Doing the same thing all the way.
Was the left lane open at all?
Was the left lane for...
well, you said the 95 cars are in the right lane. What's happening with the left lane? Is it wide open? Does he have the option of going in the left lane, or is there...
He has the option, but he's
But
not,
is there multiple cars in the lane?
There is no cars. At any time, he could have left and got in the left lane.
So
left.
So he chose to...
On that question,
yeah.
Was your bikes in the left lane?
Yeah.
Like I've seen before. Were their bikes in the left lane?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
But...
With their lights on?
Yes, but...
Okay. No further questions.
But at any time, he could have left in that left lane.
Okay, no, let's get to where you wind up where he's no part of it.
Now we're coming around the bend at the park that's there. I forget the name of the park. And I live a block from it.
Hang on.
Anyways,
I'm following you on the map when you're giving your locations.
We're coming around the bend. Yeah. It's a weird intersection because of the way you come from the park.
Right.
So,
it's called...
You're talking about the flower park?
Yes, the flower park, sure.
I know what you're talking about.
It's an extremely sharp right-hand turn. Mm-hmm. So at that point, because we have to go to General Reese, we started to slide them at that traffic light over to the left lane. He continues in, then he slides into the left lane with the funeral. We are in the right lane now. I move up to Bumby and now it's Corrine. Bumby and Corrine. And Randall goes up to Winter Park Boulevard or Winter Park Drive and Corrine. The truck's in the left lane. We're going down the line. He then aggressively jumps out of the lane, starts shooting up. He passes about 6 cars, heading right towards Randall. Randall gets on his motorcycle and slides it to the right so he can drive by. So Randall's not even in the actual lane anymore. He comes to a stop. Then he turns left and pulls into the funeral at an aggressive left, making the family slam on their brakes. And then, all the way at this point, we're waiting for 911 or for OPD.
So now he's all the way at the front of the...
No, he's not at the front. He's probably about halfway at this point.
Okay.
So, as we're going, he just keeps slamming on his brakes, slamming, going. So he does it the whole way. As we make the left onto General Reese, he goes out wide. My guy's sitting here at a 45. He goes out wide and goes out and around. So we're thinking he's going to go straight again. But then he cuts back out and around the motor, cuts back and heads into the traffic and they have to slam on their brakes as they're making the left-hand
It's
turn.
just a 2-lane road by now,
The
right?
very tight 2-lane. And at that point, because we already have the 2 cars in front, or the 2 motors in front, to go grab the last couple of lights to the Piney Wood Cemetery, that's when OPD shows up, and they go down the wrong side and pull them over into Blue Jacket Park.
Go down the wrong side. What do you mean?
They went oncoming to go to his vehicle.
Okay, so they had, because of the funeral procession, obviously they could not get there without going against traffic. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
All right. So then what happened? You get there, OPD shows up. I wasn't there, so pretend like
First thing he does.
I know very little, so I'm getting the majority of it from you right now.
You guys all hate me, and you hate Metro State.
Jeremy, I don't hate you, and I don't hate Metro State. We've had this conversation before, right? Okay.
So immediately he hops out of the truck and he slings the star around his neck. He looks exactly like that, but the sheriff's star holder is round.
Is it a white guy, black guy? I don't.
White guy. He's not heavy set, but he's stocky. The OPD officer started talking to Recycle and me in the very beginning, asking what happened. We didn't even get 3 words out of our mouths. As soon as he gets out of the vehicle and puts the badge around his neck, everyone goes to him.
Okay.
And that's where it was. Next thing you know, 2 lieutenants show up, Sergeant Viller shows up, on and on.
Okay. So once the lieutenant showed up and Sergeant Viller, what occurred then?
They talked to him over by his vehicle. They talked to us. They asked me to write a statement. I believe they had Randall write a statement too, and Recycle, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But I believe they wrote statements as well. At that point, Sergeant Viller, came over and told me he was there to arrest me, but ultimately, after he talked to the deputy, I guess one-on-one, he came back and asked me to write a statement.
So wait, so Sergeant Viller walked right up to you and said the first thing he said to you is, "I'm here to arrest you"?
No, he didn't say he didn't say I'm here to arrest you. He said I came here with the full intention to arrest you, but as I'm talking to some people, I can see that maybe the story is not exactly what it was. Okay. He talked to the officer. He came back and he said, "I need you to write me a statement."
Okay.
At that point, of course, there was in question about what ASAP was wearing, and they 15
ASAP
Randall Brocious.
Okay. And what was he wearing?
He was wearing his 45. He's a K, G, and D instructor, and he showed me the statute and said as long as he's in uniform, he can wear his weapon. I'm not a 90 security company, whatever they call 93 or so. He showed me the Florida statute, said he's allowed to wear his weapon. However, once you, as Sergeant Viller did, expand on that statute, it basically says you can't wear a weapon unless you're working for that company. That's the security company that has the license for the weapon. I was unaware of that. That's my fault. I figured being a K instructor, he would be giving me the proper information.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit. Any witnesses other than from your people?
What happened was when I got back to the office after everything calmed down and we got back to the office, I noticed somebody had called my phone. My phone was constantly ringing while I was on scene, but I was talking to the officers or writing my statement. I had a voicemail from somebody. He didn't advise his name. He just said, "I saw an incident today with one of your men and a black truck. I need you to call me immediately." So what I did was Recycle, who Sergeant Vigilor actually knows, not on a personal level, but on a off-duty detail level, is kind of my, I don't want to say IA guy. We don't have an IA, but he's my, when somebody when somebody messes up, I give it to him, and he reviews state statute and stuff, and then he either fires them or writes them up or whatever, gives them time off. And, so I had him call.
What's his name? Is that Steven?
Yes.
So hold on, Steven.
So I had Steven call and speak with the gentleman named Aaron. I don't remember his last name. Aaron advised Steven, and I advised Steven that he saw everything that happened, that the vehicle purposely veered towards me. and struck me, and then fled away after we were talking with each other.
Okay.
But he never left that.
Did you talk to this individual on the phone?
I didn't. Steven did.
Steven.
Correct.
And are you aware that that individual called the sheriff's office
I was not aware of that.
and spoke to the sheriff's office?
I was not aware of that.
All right. So he did. He also gave a statement.
Okay.
So my concern is some of what you said already about where you were originally stopped at and how the vehicle was approached. So he says he was there.
Mhm.
He described it. He said he called to file a complaint against one of your officers because he didn't know it was you. He described you to a T.
Right.
And then he said that while he was sitting in traffic, that you entered in, not you, so one of your guys entered in the intersection on a red light.
Well, the funeral director was already. Go ahead, Squirrel.
The funeral director was not there. He entered in on a red light, and they had a green light, so they were stopped. He described specific cars that your guy pushed through the intersection, and then he said you came up in an SUV and relieved that person. That person then took off. He said they sat there for between 3 and 4 light cycles before the funeral actually got there.
Okay.
So I'm just telling you what the guy said. I wasn't there, so I don't know. That's why the video would be great,
Yeah.
here, because so that's what he said. And then he said that he watched you telling the black truck to pull over, kept telling him pull over.
Well, I never say pull over. I did say pull out of the funeral.
What he's saying is, that's exactly what he said. I'm paraphrasing.
Pull over is a very bit different word.
Okay, so he says you are directing that individual to pull to the side. He says you were
not to decide to pull him out of the funeral, and I was doing this.
Okay, so he's saying you were giving clear direction with your hands to pull to the right.
Not to the right. To the left.
Oh, I'm sorry, to the left. That's right, to the left. Yes, to the left. So he said you pulled in, that the vehicle pulled in behind yours, and the two of you, he said he rolled down the window and he could see that both of you were in a heated conversation. He couldn't hear exactly what was being said, but there was a heated conversation. And that that's when that individual decided to take off, and as you were still walking towards the vehicle, and then as he accelerated to leave, you slapped the hood of his car. Listen, everything you've said so far kind of matches up. It's just,
It's just, I didn't speak with him until after he tried to hit me with the truck.
He's just telling you what the witness said.
What the witness said. Don't take it personal. I'm helping us understand, because then you can respond back. Okay, so he says that's when he accelerated to try to leave the back of your vehicle, and that you were out in the intersection, that you had slapped the front of the truck, and that you all exchanged a couple more words, and then that he took off. And then during that time, the funeral procession was still going on, because by that time the funeral procession had already gotten there. That there were still a few more cars to go. He finally got out to take off. As he took off, a Charger with your logo on the side pulled up next to you, and then took off ahead of you as if he was chasing after the truck.
Listen,
go ahead, Corp. I'm just telling you.
I'm sorry.
Let me talk, and then you can tell me what was correct or what's incorrect. So he says he took off chasing after that black truck. The guy said that he's been chased by the cops before. As a kid, and I tried to outrun them, but they always got me. He goes, I know what it looks like when somebody's chasing after somebody. He said, I actually turned the same direction, and it was clear to me that guy was chasing after him. So he said that Charger left before you did. Went after that car. All right? He said that and this is his own words, that the funeral procession, that there was many people that did not have headlights on, did not have hazards on. And I'll actually, as close as I can to quoting what he said, I've been in funerals myself, and they always tell you in the beginning, stay as close as possible. Everybody turn on their headlights or their high beams and their hazards. And on top of that, they always come through and they put like a purple flag with a magnet on it with a little white cross on it that goes on everybody's hoods so they know who's in the funeral procession. He goes, but this funeral procession, he goes, until we saw the hearse and the limo go by, he goes, we didn't know what was going on. People were getting mad, hitting their horn because they're stuck at this intersection. And he says he knew you weren't a cop because he's seen you around before, I guess.
Sure.
Your company, not you specifically. And so he said that there was big spaces between the cars. He goes, so all I can assume is that this truck got into the funeral escort and didn't even realize he was in a funeral until somebody jumped out in front of him and started yelling at him to get out of it.
Oh.
So that's where he left it.
Mm-hmm.
So expound on that for me.
Sure, Corp. That's bullshit. With all due respect.
No, Jeremy, I'm not saying that that's the truth. All I'm telling you is this is the witness that you.
What's funny is that's not what the
call.
witness told my guy, who then videotaped the recording of that conversation, and he was advised that he was being recorded.
Can you introduce that?
I promise you, Corporal, I will.
Yeah.
Because
that'll help tremendously.
He didn't say that at all. What he said was, and I saw the recording, that although I was aggressively waving him to move out of the line, he did hear the family honking and he could see that they were trying to get around the vehicle.
Okay.
And the vehicle then slowed down and then aimed towards me and accelerated aggressively.
Okay, listen,
Even he said that on the recording.
Let's stop for a second.
Sure.
Take a breath. All right? Because I know it can be frustrating, but listen, like us in law enforcement, somebody complains on us. If we come down here and we're all upset and we get all defensive, then it usually causes bigger problems for us, or it makes it harder for whoever is investigating the complaint to figure out what's really going on.
Right.
And so if somebody is already saying that you were upset, that you were mad that this individual was in the escort, and you've already made it clear that several of your people came across him and were trying to get him to come out of it. So by this time, you were probably a little ticked that he wouldn't get out. So that's what I'm saying is, if nothing was done wrong, then there's not an issue. Don't get all upset. I mean, it is what it is. People complain all the time, and we just like, you know what? This is what happened.
Sure.
Look at it how you want. But
Well, Corp, I can promise you that if I can't get the video today, I will get it to you, because in no time was I upset. I actually was like, well, let me see what I can do and try to get him out. That's exactly what I said before I got out of the vehicle. I had no intention to even involving myself with the truck, because we thought he was going to turn somewhere sooner or later. Like always. We always ask him to pull out occasionally here and there, and then we ask them to get out, and if they don't, then we ask them, No, that's...
was he able to get you the video?
That's only a very small part, bro. That's... Oh, okay, he's sending more. Hold on. Left.
That'd be great. That'd definitely help.
Yeah.
Scars never really healed up, did they?
Nope, they sure didn't. It's okay. It reminds me every day. That's what makes me upset that we keep having these problems, because I can promise you, although my guys, as Sergeant Vidler likes to say, bump the line, I can assure you that we are a lot less than what we used to be aggressively.
Oh, I can remember.
Yeah.
Remember some of the videos we looked at?
I can promise you that that's not how we are anymore. In fact,
Well, that's good.
now, to be quite honest with you, whether you want to listen to me or not, after we had our first meetings and interactions, and we had the meeting upstairs, and everyone was kind of told to leave us alone for a little bit, unofficially, I realized that I had a business that I needed to actually run instead of, because up until then, I was for sure that sooner or later everyone was just going to shut me down because of who I am.
It has nothing to do with who you are. Nobody cares about that, right?
Really? Because that's what everyone brings up.
Well, this is the first time I've heard of you, sir. I'm not going to lie. I have two questions for you
Yes,
that are
Sergeant.
driving me nuts. So I've heard from multiple people,
Mhm.
and I'm excluding my deputy. Well, I am including him, but I'm excluding him because he's not a part of this. But from multiple people, we have heard that it was bumper-to-bumper traffic in both lanes, and people were confused. They didn't know there was a procession going on. How could he aggressively drive if it's 20 miles an hour and it's bumper-to-bumper traffic?
It was bumper the other direction. That is correct. But my tail car
Mhm.
was keeping traffic at bay.
Okay.
So we have no one moving up our line. Well, when we're in the 2 lanes. When we're in the 3 lanes, of course.
Yeah, this was all about
far
the
left lane.
all about the 2-lane
Yes.
part.
But at this point, these guys are writing pen and paper right now because technically we're impeding traffic. However, the judges have overruled that multiple times in Orange County for us and said that we can do that as long as we're within the bubble of the funeral. So, but they're writing it. So,
I'm taking.
but at the same time,
Jeremy,
the last car,
am I writing it? Do you see anything on my paper?
Sergeant,
I'm doodling.
you know, I have to be honest with you. Sergeant, I thought you were going to be a lot more of a pain in the ass, and actually, you're a very professional, very good guy. I'm actually very impressed.
And all I'm writing little notes so when I ask your question again, I know if I've already asked it or not. You're more than welcome to read.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you still 10-12?
I am 12. Listen to me. I need the video where it shows me, and you tell me he's coming up, and I say, well, let me get out of the vehicle. I need that video, and then I need that scene where he then hits me. That's what I need. And then I also need Randall's body camera from Virginia and Nebraska, Virginia and Mills, where he's in the far right lane and then shifts over aggressively left.
What did I send you?
I don't know what the hell you sent me.
I sent you a video.
Yeah, just you sent me a video. Oh, hold on. This one might be Virginia Mills, but this is not the one. The video that you sent me, the first one, wasn't of me getting out of the truck. That's not my body.
Yeah, but there's another video of me that you get out of your truck. I sent you that one.
Yeah, that's you getting the picture of me getting out of the vehicle. I need my body camera. They don't want 3 different angles. They want my body camera.
No, that's your body. Yeah, it's your body camera.
All right, let me look at it again. Give me a mic. All right, bye. No, that's at Virginia. Oh. I guess that is it. Okay, so they're making a left at Virginia. That's what.
Yeah.
You cannot cut in and out of the escort, bro. It doesn't fucking matter. You can't cut in and out. That doesn't matter. You can't cut in and out of the escort. Fuck, boy.
It's okay. I don't care about language.
Go back from the. I'm looking at the beginning.
So those vehicles are pretty spaced out there.
Okay, now this is
the vehicle.
Okay, there's no other vehicles coming now, right?
No.
So he was at the tail end.
No. There's like 10
See
or
the reflection.
Yeah, they're going by. He could have got out at any time he wanted.
So he's out of the procession right now.
Well, yeah, because he just came to try to run me down.
Okay, play that again. I'm trying to figure out if he's getting out of the procession. Okay, so
No, I'm telling him to get out. I'm like, come on, bro, get out.
So you're waving him towards you.
Well, I'm telling him to get in the other
you're
lane.
waving right. So he gets over into the other lane, which is right where you're at. That's what I'm saying. So he did exactly what you directed him to do. He did. I'm watching your video.
He slid over, but then he accelerates towards me. That's what I'm trying
not what I see. I see him pulling up to you, basically trying to figure out what's going on. You blocked that lane, so he can't even go through that lane. You're blocking this lane, the lane that you directed him to by your own video. You directed him to you. He came up. Listen to Jimmy. Let me explain. As your video, what I'm going off, just off the video you just showed me.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the line of the procession. You're waving and yelling at people to get out of the procession.
No, just him.
Okay, and you're waving him over to the left.
Right.
And he does exactly what you're telling him to do. He did, per your own video.
Sergeant.
And then he pulls up to you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, he pulls up to you, and he's like, what are you doing? You're not a cop.
Right. Okay, sir.
The video. Then explain the video, because if you don't agree with me, please explain the video.
Sergeant, when I wave him over,
when you're saying waving him over,
I'm like, hey, bro, get out of the funeral. You hear me? Get out of the funeral,
I
bro.
see it. Yeah,
I'm not. Get the fuck out. I'm a cop. None of that. Okay. I'm saying, get out of the funeral, bro. Okay. So I'm doing this. He's coming. You're right. He slows down.
He slows down,
and then he aims towards me, and he
moves into your lane.
Okay. You're right.
Well, this what I saw in the video is this: your vehicle's parked in the far right.
No, in the far left.
Far left.
If you're looking at the way you travel, yours is in the far right lane, and then there's two through lanes.
You're traveling.
No, there's the turn lane, the right turn lane.
Correct.
And then
you're in the through lane,
and this
right. There's two through lanes.
You're in the lane closest to the sidewalk.
You're in the right through lane.
You were in the lane
Yeah, you
closest
can pull
to
the video.
sidewalk.
Yeah.
Closest to the sidewalk.
Right.
Okay.
So that would be totally right, not left.
And the
Right,
funeral
right.
procession was passing you on the
On
left.
Correct.
In
We
the
were making the left. I'm sorry, you're right.
in
we
the
were making
center
the left
through
in-
in the left through lane.
Correct.
And
So-
so,
I'm
so
listening.
he's coming along
Mhm.
in the funeral procession. They all have to be in the center lane because there's no way they could be in the right lane closest to the sidewalk because their
Correct.
vehicle's parked there.
Right.
So if he's there
Mhm.
in the funeral procession and you're telling them to get out, you're waving at him, you're standing out in the traffic way, just listen, and you're waving him, is it possible he got confused thinking, well, I can't go over here because his truck's
it's not possible.
I can't go over here because his truck's parked there without hitting him. So if you're either telling him to get out of the funeral procession and stop until you're done, or you're telling him to what?
Yeah.
To move out of the funeral.
Where was he going to go?
Jeremy, can you text that video to me, please? So we got it.
Where was he going to go?
To sit behind the vehicle until the funeral
Your
got
vehicle.
by. Just
Yeah,
until
but your
we get
vehicle,
by.
right? Okay, so that's what I'm saying is if he's like, wait a second, I'm trying to go somewhere. I don't even know what's going on. He didn't know it was a funeral escort because you can see the spacing of the vehicles. I'm assuming. I haven't talked to this guy, so I don't know. But based on what I see, he can't tell if it's a funeral escort because the vehicles are not tight. You see that in your own video.
I do, but Corporal,
So if
the
you're
reason why the
directing
vehicles
him
aren't
in-
tight at this point is because of the constant braking and speeding, braking and speed. My guys have already talked to him at 2 different lights. Orlando and Mills
But the
is
vehicles
almost
in front of him were
3-4
spread out.
miles.
Listen, the vehicles in front of him are spread
The ones
out.
that you're showing ahead of time were all spread out.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying,
Mhm.
and let me tell you, when
Did
you're
you
in the
just send
heat of
that
the
over to
moment,
me? Yeah,
when you're in the heat of the moment like that, it's very easy to get like tunnel vision when you
Yeah.
don't see the clear picture. When you go back and look at the video, you're like, oh man, I didn't realize that.
Right.
And that's exactly what you're seeing here is the vehicles are so spread out, like the witness said. The vehicles are spread out. And I saw 2 of them that went by that didn't have headlights on. So were they in the procession or were they just people that got in by accident?
They were part of the procession. However, Corp, it's impossible. It was at a black church, and I'm not allowed to go up front and talk. I'm not an Orange County deputy.
Okay.
So I don't get to go in front of a church and say high beams hazards. She advised them high beams hazards. We did go around the parking lot and advise high beams hazards, but we can only do so much.
Let me just
I'm
just so you're aware, it doesn't matter to be an Orange County deputy or an escort company or a security company, whatever. That does not preclude you from going in front of a congregation. That would be your director or something like that, because they can tell us the same thing.
Well,
So-
the Catholic service, I sent that to you, sir.
Okay, yeah, got
The
it.
Catholic services, they don't allow us to do that at all.
I just got it. Just saying forward. It doesn't show anything.
It doesn't show anything?
No.
Okay.
Okay, it just came through. Got
Yeah,
it.
so
So
what's the Virginia? The next one? You said
that's
the second
yeah,
video.
that's what it was. So
Anyways, let's clarify this again for
Yeah,
the video for
sorry.
Jeremy and everything. Your perception of when you were directing him was you were directing him out of the funeral procession, which was traveling in the left through lane. There's 2 through lanes. There's a right through lane,
Right.
which your vehicle was occupied.
Right.
Stopped. You were out of your vehicle. You were actually standing behind your vehicle. And then you were directing the traffic that was coming towards you in the left through lane, and you were waving for him to get out of the traffic. The only area that he can go, per your video, was in your travel lane.
right, but that doesn't mean accelerate towards me,
Okay,
Sergeant.
Whatever you. I'm just saying. I'm
Right.
just clarifying for the record.
I hear you.
And so he got out of the left travel lane, through lane, and came up to you. And that's the conversation that we heard where you exchanged the words.
That was after he tried to hit me with the vehicle. But yes, Sergeant,
Okay,
you're right.
All right, I was just clarifying for the record.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it.
So your belief is the deputy was intentionally trying to hit you with his car and come to a complete stop?
I don't think he was intentionally trying to run me over.
Okay.
I think he was intentionally trying to use his vehicle to, like, maybe push me out of the way.
Okay.
Or, like, I don't want to say impose his might or what, you know what I'm trying to say? More like,
I'm just trying to get in your head.
sure. It was more like he was just trying to race up on me, and then because he was a deputy, or, well, at that point we thought police officer. We didn't know he was Orange County.
Same thing.
So, when he raced up and came up towards me, and then I had to push myself off.
Okay.
If I hadn't done that, he would have hit me. So,
Okay.
I mean, he would have ran me over, not hit me because he did hit me. It's just I pushed myself back and away. So
How much reaction time do you think he had between the point when you started directing him to the point to where
quite
you
a
wanted
bit
him to
because
be?
he slowed down before he shifted lanes and then accelerated.
Okay. I got you. I'm just asking. Okay.
And so this is where the car is sitting at the light. The funeral, that's him. He just changes to the right lane. He goes past our car, changes to the right lane, and then I go by. And
looks like other cars are following him.
no, they're in.
That was you following. Who was that following him?
That was my truck.
So you were following him.
Not
Okay,
him.
see your
I
lights.
was moving up to the next light.
But it looked like you went to you traveled the same pattern that he did. Watch the truck. He goes all the way to the right, closest to the sidewalk, and then that's you.
No,
Right there.
I'm in the right lane.
Okay.
Because this car is not in the lane; it's more in the block.
Let me see. Let me zoom it in here. Let me see this here. My eyesight's. Is this
That is
okay?
Nebraska
Okay.
and Mills.
So in the funeral procession, he goes into the right lane there,
And
and
then-
the funeral procession is in the left lane.
Correct, and
Okay.
they're about to make a left onto Virginia. Hold on, let me.
And at that time, I can see your marked unit go into the right lane.
No, I was already in the right lane, sliding past because.
When you came through the intersection,
Can I draw here?
Well, here, I'll draw this real quick. So from the video here, let me draw that intersection. So this is the intersection. And I'll just draw the lanes. So basically, from that video, you have a guy that's posted right here that's
No,
videotaping.
he's more over here. He was more over here. So the truck, this is the funeral coming down this line. So the truck leaves the funeral and then cuts here.
Yeah, we
Whereas
see that.
I'm coming down this line, but because my car is kind of here, not where I had to go up into the funeral, but just enough to where I could squeeze by the car and the funeral, then I'm still in the right travel lane.
And per that video, I just saw multiple cars were doing the same thing, right?
No,
Following
they
behind
were
you.
in the far left lane.
Well, I saw a bunch of cars behind him do the same thing. Were they aggressively driving?
No,
Okay.
No.
I was just
Can you
curious.
send me that one too?
I will.
Thanks, appreciate that.
And if possible, really need.
Hey,
Sorry.
that's fine. I'm gonna see if he.
All right, that'll wrap it up for part 1. Part 2 coming soon, as well as the video on Vidler's case against John Mina, the sheriff. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and watch for the next clip.